It's been a while.
1, 2, 3.
No, honestly, I didn't intend for it to be this long, but moving and stuff, it took a little longer than I assumed it was going to. Way longer than I thought it was going to. But now everything's settled, basically. You're not seeing this corner of the room, so you can imagine how settled I am right now. I wanted to make a little video in between because I was thinking about it, and I finally have a job that I really like. It's with animals, and I don't see people. I'm more of an ambivert? Ambivert. That word. Than an introvert, but like, if you've ever had a retail job, oh my god. I can make a book about like all the weird things I've heard, seen. Someone tried to steal from the store I was in. Like, people are insane. So I don't know, I was thinking about doing a small series on the tales of retail, as I like to call it, and just kind of talk about that in between other things. But regardless if I am going to continue this or not, I'm just going to start here and we'll see how it goes. So technically this wasn't at retail, it was at a cafe, but I count it in the same regards because if you've ever serviced people at a restaurant or been in a restaurant, it's its own brand of like weird people, retail-ish things. You only understand if you've ever worked in culinary. So this was a tiny cafe, so pretty much everyone did every job. Like, you were cashier one day, or like cashier-ish one day, then you were cooking main food, then you were serving people. You were a Renaissance man. So I was on the cashier, and this couple comes up. The guy has been a regular for forever, but I had just been there for 2 weeks. So he comes up to me, he asked me about one of the kids that works there that's younger than me, and he's worked there for years, and he's like, oh, does he still go to school? And I'm new, so I'm like, I don't know. I'm new. I don't know, maybe not, I don't know. And he's like, okay, well, do you go to school? I'm like, I'm in a break for a year and whatnot. And, just making small talk with this guy, it's nothing bad. But then I bring up, like, I'm not going this year because we're focusing on my boyfriend. That's why I had moved. He's going to school for a year, and then I'll probably go back. And he's like, oh, okay, what does he do? I'm like, oh yeah, he's like a video game production management. Like, that's a cool job. I'm not kidding you. I don't know, I don't understand. I think about it at night, I'm like asleep, and I'm like, what does that mean? This man stops. He stares at the ground. He's thinking, I can tell. Something is not computing, something is not clicking in his mind. And he just looks up at me. He's like, isn't that a woman's job? What does that mean? What does that mean? Video game production management is apparently a woman's job. I don't understand. So I had to be like, oh, I had to internalize this like crises I'm having to be like, oh, well, he's really good at talking to people. Like, I don't know what that's supposed to mean. So I'm trying to think of like what it could mean. And I'm like, oh, he's good at talking to people. Like, he's really good, like, don't worry. He can still do it. At this cafe, we offer gluten-free options, which is great. I love it. So we had gluten-free bread that you could get as a side, and this woman that this man is with had asked for a side of gluten-free toast. And the person that had grabbed it, like, didn't ask her if it was an allergy or whatnot, which, is not a big deal, but there was a couple of new kids around, and I saw that they weren't, like, particularly fully knowledgeable of, like, how to make sure it's not cross-contaminated. So I'm like, well, I'm gonna go ask her, she's right there, I'm gonna go ask her if she's a celiac, if this is an allergy, or if this is preference. You'd be surprised at how many people, especially at this place, just wanted gluten-free bread as a preference. I had a regular that would come in wanting gluten-free bread and extra of a sauce that is completely not gluten-free, and she knew it. So she's just like, yes, give me this gluten-free item and just put all the gluten on it. Don't understand. So I go up to this woman and I'm like, hey, you know, it's not a big deal. I just want to know if this was an allergy or if this was just preference. And I'd preface it, because she looked a little confused, and I'd preface it like, you know, I'm a celiac. I just want to make sure that you are okay. The staff knows, like, how to treat your food. I kid you not. This is the woman that is with the man that just said about the whole woman thing. She stares at me with, like, magic stardust in her eyes. She's like, her eyes are twinkling. She is like, oh my god, are you a celiac? I've never met one. Yeah, so she's so giddy because I am a celiac and she's finally meeting one. Apparently this is a thing that we have to freak out about. And she's like, just like, oh my god, I've never met one. It just basically like, she asked me, if you're a celiac, how can you work here? And I had to take a second, I'm like, does she mean because the food is tempting? Or does she mean that is celiac an airborne illness? And I'm like, oh my god. So I'm just like, okay, it's not an airborne illness, so I'm fine. But we have gluten-free options, so if I want to eat anything, I am also fine. And then she just wanted to know my life history. She's just like, when did you find out? How do you live your life? I'm not kidding you. This woman was so amazed and so enamored to meet someone that could eat gluten. Sweetest one, so sweet, but like, what? And that was it. As you can tell, she was not gluten-free. It was super just preference. But it was an amazing story. And I'm so glad now. I was so confused. I'm so glad I asked her. But yeah, so real quick video just to kind of get more into the swing of things. Figured out apartment stuff and gotten a job and like all this other stuff. I just really want to get something out there so I can be like, okay, yes, I am back, not dead. I'm gonna try and work on a couple of things and make better content. Don't quote me on that. If you like this video, that'd be cool if you leave a like. If you want more rants about retail, please like, leave a like, but also be like, yeah, more. I don't know. Keep being you. You're beautiful. Bye.